'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. Our children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of morning danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. I ran to our window and opened the sash, searching for danger, perhaps being rash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. But day it was not, and dawn is not promised. The beauty was cold, if I had to be honest. I turned from the window to return to my bed, when the curtains they billowed, filling with dread. Into the room a bitter wind moaned, and through the night's veil a darkness was sown. I heard my wife whisper,
"Papa, beware,"
as silence fell eerie, thick with despair. Back to the vista my eyes they did search, for the wind was too bitter, not of this earth.
"Look,"
said my wife, coming to stand there at my side and taking my hand. I followed her gaze to the edge of our land, where a forest primeval towered so grand. From deep in that darkness they slowly appeared, bodies like scorpions, heads like reindeer. They walked in an arrow as if stalking a hunt. Crimson red dripped from the beast in the front. Across moonlit snow they left nary a print. Only scurries of spiders gave any dark hint that walking among them, so tall and so thin, with eyes empty midnight and countenance grim, was he who most humans never will see, not see and survive, for no one can flee. It was there on the lawn the master took pause, with fingers like talons and mouth like a maw. His presence so powerful he'd stolen our breath. I knew in that moment I was looking at death. Impatient and stomping, they clawed at the land. His coursers they reared when they heard his command.
Now Dasher, now Demon, now Prophet and Vixen, on Comet, on Cain, on Damien and Blitzen. Surround those four souls, surround these four walls, keep them and hold them, encircle them all.
As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so to the air the coursers they flew, and settled around the only home that we knew. They created a circle, sealed with their ill. If we tried to get out, we'd surely be killed. Next, in a moment, as fast as a shot, Death stood in the moonlight, and then he did not. In slow motion, at least, I turned from the view, when downstairs I heard him, and my lady did too. He sounded like snakes, an unending hiss. He walked through our walls, a seething abyss. From the top of the stairs, between him and the kids, we stood and we watched him, goodness forbid. When he came to our tree, strung with bright lights, he threw back his head and laughed at our plight. His eyes, how they burned! His face made me wary. His cheeks cracked with cackles. He knew what he carried. Plucked from his flesh, like burrs from his back, the wares from a peddler with hell in his pack. The gifts, like him, were not of this earth, but objects of dread, of despair, and of dearth. A mirror that showed not your face, but your fears. A clock that ticked backward, unraveling years. A jar full of whispers, voicing dark rages. A book with no story, just endless short pages. Why had we not feared each year with this rite of cookies and milk in open invite? Had we not worried that one winter night, the thing that would come would arrive with a bite?
No plums or fairies, no candies or berries, no treasures or toys for good girls and boys.
We stood and we watched, and we knew it was true. Those free of care nights were definitely through. As we heard Deaf intone his insidious rhyme, our innocence shriveled and died on the vine. Never again could we open our home, lest something creep in with a chill for our bones. But as quick as he came, the grim, he was gone, leaving before the first light of dawn. We looked at each other, Mama and me. We checked on our children, still weak in the knees. The house was so quiet, all wrapped up in fear, proof that evil had been nearer than near. Back at our window like moths we were drawn, to stand side by side and peer out at the lawn. There stood the phantom, the specter, the fate, while his scorpion deer still circled in wait. Then a pulse on the air marked their dismissal, and they gathered around him like thorns on a thistle. We hid, and we watched the demons at all return to the wilderness like after the fall. This night was so different, not like any other. We huddled in bed and held one another. I never once thought to dispose of his gifts, just tossed and turned, afraid of what ifs. But when morning broke, the day was so tame. The children were laughing, unwrapping their games. The mirror, the clock, the jar, and the book, not to be found. Trust me, did I look. Those wicked, foul talismans, with intentions so stark, hid in the daylight and only thrived in the dark. There are times, past midnight, when my dear family sleeps, I'll see the book or the clock and quietly weep. A reminder that nothing is just what it seems, that nightmares are real and walk out of dreams. What if the jar sends out a squall, and beasts with their master answer the call? What if the mirror shows me his face, and my heart misses beats and loses its pace? Every new winter, when Christmas draws near, I think of those tokens that night full of fear. For beneath all the joy, all the laughter and light, lurks death with a whisper.
And to all, a still night.